Hi, welcome to Bad Balance. This is where I'm going to talk about just really poorly designed aspects of video games. So I'd like to start this by talking about a game I've been playing recently, mycopunk, and specifically the glider. This is one of the worst examples of bad video game just class design and balance I've ever seen. So, what does glider do? Well, glider can fly, which is a really big deal, as I'm sure most of you are already aware. Flying, just in any video game, is an incredibly strong tool that's very hard to balance. But her special character ability that isn't movement related is rockets. Now, this is the only special ability in the game, character ability, whatever you want to call it, that deals damage. This is also the only ability in the game that can heal without a special upgrade, but I'll talk about that. So let's look at this, why this is so badly balanced and just poorly designed from the perspective of we have 4 players on the team. Why would you pick each of these characters? And why wouldn't you just pick 4 gliders? And you're going to see that every single character in this game is invalidated by Glider's existence, because every single thing they try to do is completely nullified by this one character. So, keep that in mind. This can heal. This is the only thing that can deal damage without upgrades. And she can also fly. And fly fast as well. So, let's look at the Scrapper next. This character's movement ability. Let's say our team composition right now is a Wrangler, a Bruiser, a Scrapper, and a Glider. So, her movement ability, I almost said him, her movement ability is a jetpack. And her character ability is a very limited use grapple pull that you swing around on. Now, you might be thinking, well, this character has some utility. It makes other people move faster. There's ways to manipulate the pull so that the pull moves with you, so you always have it around. And yeah, this character's pretty well made. It's very fun and interesting. However, you do begin to notice that gliders just glide faster than your pole can provide, and they can go places where your pole can't go without you rethrowing it. So you notice that the glider is really never using your pole. And then a thought occurs to you. Well, if I swap to glider as well, now half the team has no need for the pole. And one of these guys, all he does is movement, so it's nice to have it, but he doesn't really particularly care. So really only one guy's actually benefiting from the pole. But if I did swap to glider, then I would have that freedom of movement instead of this shitty jetpack, and I'd have the ability to heal as well, and the only damage ability. So I'd also be able to provide healing and damage, which I currently can't really do in any effective capacity. So I'm going to swap to glider then. Okay, now let's look at this from the Bruiser's POV. 2 people have now swapped to glider. Okay, well, now the only way your team could have supported you with movement is gone, so now you're by far the slowest class, which means you have to use the lightning grenade to move, which means you give up like 50% or more of your damage, but I digress. His ability is a jump, which at least moves him forward a bit, and you can upgrade this to add a dot component to it that debuffs enemies so they take more damage from everyone. Then you realize that it's significantly better to just apply that element to your weapon. So that's a bit nullified. His character ability is a shield. Shields in these kinds of co-op video games are very peculiar. They are either completely useless or completely mandatory. Think Darktide. Psyker Bubble Shield is one of the worst abilities in the game until you get onto Havoc, where it is so powerful that not having it is considered throwing, to some degree. Unfortunately, in mycopunk, the shield is completely useless 99% of the time. Sure, it's cool to like, oh, there's a big enemy, I'm going to throw this down, they can't shoot through it. But now, let's look at this from the Bruiser's perspective. So there are upgrades to turn this into a box or a dome, and to make it give people overshields and to heal people. So you might think that's actually pretty good. And yeah, if Glider wasn't in the game, this character would actually be really amazing. However, from his POV, well, now 2 people are on glider, so 2 people are constantly shooting healing rockets at everyone all the time. So any healing or overshielding that his shield provides is now nullified, because these rockets are like instantly, every second another rocket is being fired that's healing like everyone on the team that's taking damage for like half their health immediately. Okay, then you consider, why am I shielding damage away when the two gliders are just able to heal damage more effectively than I can block it with my shield. So from the Bruiser's perspective, if I also swap to glider, the healing I would provide from the rockets will end up negating more damage than I could possibly block with the shield. I will also not have to be super slow, nor will I be locked into the lightning grenade to get speed. So why wouldn't he also just swap to glider? He would move faster, have an ability that deals literally 10 times as much damage. Because Nosedive, it deals like a little bit of damage baseline. So he would have a better support tool that's more versatile. He would have significantly better mobility. And he wouldn't need to give up a utility item that could massively increase his damage to sort of compete with glider. So from the Bruiser's perspective, it is also better to just swap glider because glider does the support role better. Glider does the team movement role better because every glider invalidates the need for a grapple pull. Glider does the team support role better because every glider means more healing, which means more damage is being prevented as soon as the millisecond it happens, which means less use for a shield. Okay, well, what about Wrangler? This character can air dash, and he has a lasso. Very fun, very cool character. Unfortunately, as you notice, both of his abilities are movement related. Now, when this character is fully upgraded, he can actually be as fast, if not a little faster than the glider. That's cool, but then you consider that he cannot heal his teammates, nor can his abilities provide any substantial form of damage, and you have to ask yourself, why am I going to dedicate my entire upgrade tree just to move as fast as this class when having none of the other things this class has? All this class has to do is throw on 2 upgrades to move as fast as you do, fully upgraded, and they just have to hold down a button to achieve that speed. You gotta, like, punch the ground, dash, slide. It's very involved. It's like ultra kill movement, which I'm not gonna say isn't fun, but just from a game design perspective, what's the point? These gliders are, you know, your other 3 teammates that have all swapped to glider, they're now moving as fast or faster than you are. Assuming you screw up one part of your movement, they're now blazing past you. And on top of that, their abilities deal significant damage, whereas yours deal, like, none. And they're healing each other, which you just can't really do at all. So, you also, as the Wrangler, would just swap to glider. So, even before we get into mods, like, you can just see how from a baseline level, completely unmodded, Bruiser can't heal, Wrangler's pull is completely stationary. I'm sorry, Wrangler... his movement abilities are nice, but not as good as just flying, and Scrapper's pull is completely stationary. Now, if we are going to add upgrades into the mix, we have to consider Glider's upgrades. Well, Glider's upgrades are things like unlimited flight, so you never have to stop flying. Massive increases to flight speed, you know, in the 40, when you combine the 60 percentile ballpark. Instant cooldown on the rockets. Automatic seeking heal rockets that heal both yourself and your teammates, just completely automatically, just for pressing the button. And it really begins, you know, oh yeah, and 400% damage to the rockets, which leads to a situation, every single one of these rockets, if I was playing with another person, would also be getting fired at a random teammate to passively auto-heal them for over half their health, and would be passively auto-healing me for like half of my health. And it's giving me unlimited fuel to fly around forever. So, Glider is faster than everyone else, always has access to her movement ability unlike everyone else, is the only class that can consistently heal everyone on the map all the time just for existing, and while doing so is also dealing damage, which the other classes can't do with their abilities. Glider literally does everything. She does things that the other classes literally can't do. Not only does she do everything, she does everything better than everyone else, even doing things that no one else can really do. This isn't just a case of bad balance, this is a case of just flat out bad video game design. Glider's rockets should not deal damage at all, period. So here's the next part of these bad balance videos I want to do. I want to talk about how you would fix this. Now, the smooth brain, buck broken by Helldiver's opinion, is just buff everyone to this level. If you buff everyone to the level of the character that's so overpowered they can basically just, with a single macro that spams a button, just walk through the hardest difficulty and win, you will make your game so insanely boring no one's going to want to play it. Other than, like, literal toddlers that just want the instant dopamine of winning without any cost. So what really needs to happen here is infinite flight should not be a thing, period. This mod just shouldn't exist at all, period. Neither should this mod. Glider should not have any way to restore fuel to flight other than naturally letting it regenerate at a slow pace. The attempt to balance this character is that the wingsuit takes the longest out of anything in the game to come back because it's obviously the most powerful movement tool. However, when you have upgrades that completely circumvent that downside, the downside stops existing. Rockets cannot heal and do damage and have an upgrade that makes them auto-heal yourself and others. Rockets, honestly, just shouldn't heal. Just bar done, flat out, rockets should not be able to heal you, they should not be able to heal enemies, and they should not be able to heal allies. Nor should there be any upgrades that give them any capacity to heal. If all Glider could do is shoot the rocket salvo and fly around in short bursts, the character would be incredibly balanced compared to the others. Ironically, I'd still think they would be the best character in the game, because why would you not just stack 4 of them to get the most damage to kill things before they become a problem? But you could at least make the argument that she wouldn't have this unbearable stranglehold over the game like she currently does. Yeah. That's honestly everything I think I have to say about this. Next video will probably be on Resident Evil in some capacity for bad balancing.